Roger, Bravo, leader.
Roger, Bravo, leader.
Somehow, despite it being one of my favorite starfighters in the franchise, I've never made a video all about the N-1. So today, in preparation for The Mandalorian and Grogu, we shall remedy that. I'm Joey from Radio Free Coruscant, and this is the Naboo N-1 Starfighter. Design. The Theed Palace Space Vessel Engineering Corps Naboo N-1 Starfighter was a mid-sized luxury starfighter created for the Royal House of Naboo. It was sleek and streamlined, with a shiny chromium coating on the nose and typically a bright yellow paint job on the rest of the ship. It had a smooth, fish-like main hull with two round engines at the ends of wide wings and a long pointed tail. The ship's tiny cockpit was located at the root of the tail, roughly in the middle of the ship, and its astromech socket just behind that. The main hull of the N-1 was largely devoid of external features, but contained important machinery such as its power cells, landing gear, weapons, and more. The wings were mostly full of structural supports to hold its powerful engines, but also had ailerons at the tailing edge for maneuvering the craft in atmosphere. The engines at the wingtips were themselves tipped with the ship's main sensors, and had long trailing heat sinks at the rear in the center of their circular exhausts. Like many Naboo ships, the N-1's engines were designed to be as environmentally friendly as possible, burning extremely hot to reduce harmful emissions. The N-1's tail was too narrow to fit much in it, but it did contain various electronics along its length, and its charging and refueling coupler at the end. The astromech socket at its base was fairly unique among starfighters. The tail was far too narrow for a standard astromech droid to sit normally in it and be able to see out like on other starfighters, so the droid's body was held at the bottom of the tail, and its head had to extend upward on a long pole. In-universe, the N-1 was designed by unknown engineers working for King Ars Varuna. And as so many of the best Star Wars ships are, it was designed in real life by Doug Chiang. He created it to resemble an F1 racing boat with the pontoons swapped for jet engines and a long fish-like tail spike. Specifications. The N-1 Starfighter measured 11 meters long by about 5.9 meters wide and 1.25 meters tall. It had a top speed of 1100 kilometers per hour and a Class 1 hyperdrive with a 1000 light-year range, which could be extended by docking to a Naboo diplomatic barge for in-flight refueling. The ship was armed with twin laser cannons and two proton torpedo launchers. These shared the same launch tube, and each had a magazine of 5 torpedoes. It required one pilot and one astromech droid, and could carry 65 kilograms of cargo and 1 week of consumables. Its price was unknown, but based on its size and the luxury materials used in its construction, it was probably around 200 to 250,000 credits. History. The N-1 Starfighter was designed during the reign of King Ars Varuna and entered service in 33 BBY. They were used for a variety of tasks, but their first major test was during the Battle of Naboo in 32 BBY, when Bravo Squadron fended off the Trade Federation's Vulture droids. Young pod racer and Jedi initiate Anakin Skywalker hid in an N-1 during the ground battle on Naboo, and accidentally engaged its autopilot to join the rest of the squadron. Fortunately, though, he was an exceptional pilot, and managed to fly his N-1 into the droid control ship Vatoon Palaw's hangars, where he destroyed it from the inside with a proton torpedo. The N-1 Starfighter went on to serve in defense of Naboo during the Clone Wars, Galactic Civil War, and beyond. For the most part, Naboo was left alone during these conflicts, and as such, N-1s weren't really used in any major battles. A few found their way into the hands of the Rebel Alliance, and they became very popular with starship collectors and on the black market. One such N-1 was picked up by Peli Motto, a mechanic on Tatooine, in 9 ABY. She sold it to bounty hunter Din Djarin and helped him get it back in flyable condition and modified it to be significantly faster and a bit more heavily armed. He used it as his personal transport for some time, though for how long is unknown. Another privately owned N-1 was piloted by Janata security officer Lima Kai during the Clone Wars. She modified it to lay seismic charges instead of proton torpedoes, but it was destroyed by Iden Versio in 34 ABY. Several more N-1s were present for the Battle of Exegol in 35 ABY, and the ship was considered an antique by 40 ABY. And that's everything there is to know about the Naboo N-1 Starfighter. Let me know what you think of this ship, and what other ships you'd like to see covered in the future. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next week. RFC, out.